So here is the video for section 2 in terms of just giving you instructions, giving you an idea of how it is that you want to complete this. So if we're looking at section 2 itself, what we can see is that we have roughly the similar sorts of territories outlined on the map, right? Obviously, it's not perfect, but I did the best I could in trying to keep the same shape and covering the same area. Now, what it is that you are doing is you are finding at least one example of something important today. So not something back then. You don't have to worry about like what existed back then, but today, what exists in that land that is important, that is significant in some kind of way. So it can be like a major city, a landmark, and that can be like a physical landmark or like a man-made landmark, a economic activity, like some kind of work that people do there, whatever the case, right? And even beyond that, right? There are other examples you can use. And then you can use images on the map on slide 13 for ideas. So like, let's say, for example, we've got the original 13 states, right? There's a lot of things here that can give us ideas as to what is significant about this land, what exists here that is important, right? So like Washington, D.C., for example, you can pick the Capitol building and you could say like, hey, this is something that exists here. And then you would explain, right, you know, the significance of it to an extent, right? You don't have to like explain the history of the capital or anything like that, but you just say the capital exists here, the capital is important because of this, or whatever the case. And then you include a picture of the capital. That's just one example of something you could do. But again, you could do plenty of things. Same thing for these other places, right? For the Treaty of Paris, for Florida Cession, for Louisiana Purchase, right? You can use these images as examples of things that are significant. Now, granted, you're not going to necessarily know what all these things are. Like this here, you might not know that this is Mount Rushmore, and therefore it might be difficult to use that. But if that's the case, if you're finding it difficult to use these images, well, then you can just search a state, like pick one, like pick North Dakota and Google North Dakota, like, or what is important in North Dakota, or what, like a major city in North Dakota, or whatever the case, right? Again, it's not really something that is supposed to be super in depth or complex. It's just more so like you understanding these are places that we gained over time through the era of westward expansion that are significant. I mean, the fact that we as the United States exists over this very large amount of area that includes a lot of different things. That is something that I want you to kind of understand that, we're talking about these territories for a reason. There is stuff there that is important. So you just want to do that for each of these different territories. Again, just one example, something real quick, something real simple. You don't even have to explain it that much, but just what's something that exists there today that we wouldn't have otherwise if we had not have gained that territory in the past. So if that is not quite clear enough, if you feel like you still need some kind of help or assistance with that, or maybe even just ideas for a certain territory that you're having trouble with, just send me an email, let me know. But otherwise, have a good day, and whenever you're finished, go ahead and turn this in.